Usually I don't get into these subtitle films even though I want to, but this one really got me into it from the first episode. It's taken the world by storm. It is more difficult to do portraits, however it's good for practice, and so I'll see how much of a likeness I can get and see how close to the reference image that I've spent some time on. I think what we forget is that it's actually a powerful story around the rich versus poor, but it also just has this amazing art style, and I want to try and capture the cynicism, is that a word? The sinister aspect of it, but also capturing those colours and the art direction it took. So what's great about the show is it's brought a lot of people to the attention of foreign cinema, to world cinema, and it's a bit weird that we call it world cinema and then ours just the movies, but I really must put my sign up. We're so removed from the rest of the world, and it's great bringing other art forms and other storytellers into the mix. I don't often do fan art, but it's brought in a lot of different artists from other people's Instagrams that I found. Really inspiring, really cool. The art direction, as I said, is amazing. Let's get going. I have this idea for a large-scale Squid Game artwork in my own style, taking inspiration from the show, of course, but also those movie posters that I've grown up with. So I had no idea what I would be doing with this quick let's make a Squid Game based video, seeing as it's trending at the moment, and also it's a source of inspiration. Just untangle these and then I can start painting properly. It's just too damn quiet. Good angle. And I recently watched a YouTube video, the Colin and Samir channel, I hope I'm saying that right, and they were talking about how it's very difficult to be original these days and how you get inspired by things and how we all take inspiration from other things. And I've never been really one to get into fan art or to do the cosplay or anything like that, but we wouldn't have creativity if it wasn't on the back of other people and then creating an original idea, having explored it. So that's what that episode explores, and it's really quite thorough for the 20 minutes, so worth checking out. Okay, so we're straight into the ugly layer, and I'm gonna go for a pen at the end to really get the details in. But there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of composition to think about, and on that, the director of Squid Game said he's seen Mr. Beast's version of it, and he says more of it because it brings more attention to the show, and hopefully the stronger message will be found, because the show has obviously a lot more time to build the characters up. I think it's good to explore these ideas, and it's great to bring more of you in. I mean, I'm a bit of a film buff and nerd at heart in the way I just consume film and TV, pop culture. So I'm happy to have those conversations here. Right, so it may look like chaos right now, but suddenly thought there's no way I'm going to do this many portraits in 4 hours, so next stage, commence. Time to correct this mess. Yeah, this is quite tricky, and also because I've got like the flea market coming up, this is kind of in between things, because I wanted to kind of get on the back of this. Well, you guys are new and really appreciate you being here, so thought I'd do another Squid Game inspired thing, because that's probably where you found me. And So I'm doing it from scratch, and there's a lot of characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is going to be quite a challenge to try and finish it within the time, really. And this is all the stuff I need to start painting for the M32 flea market. So just bought from the works. So yeah, but yeah, wholesale and then make them look good, make them more sought after. But what I want to try and do is capture the essence of this rather than the pure realisticness. So I want to create the mood. So we'll see if we can achieve that. So I'm an artist with ADHD, and it may look like chaos right now, but I'm just putting down that roadmap to tell me what to do next, and I'm just figuring it out. It's going to be very messy. There was no way I was going to have enough time to do that many portraits in one evening, so I'm just going to do a very abstract pen drawing, and I'll add some more details in later. But it's getting there. It's not really looking like the wonderful composition I've created on Photoshop, but it is a work in progress. Squid Game was like a wonderful portrayal of the rich versus poor, and also a lot of the corruption that's going on in many governments, I guess. And the art style was just amazing with the pinks and blues, and of course it was very gruesome as well in terms of the violence, but that kind of pushed the story along. It never took away from the story. It never was so violent that it took away from that story. And I watched it in subtitles, so I don't always manage to do that, but the acting was really compelling, and the English dub wasn't that great anyway. I had a little look, but I might rewatch it in dubbed just to see what it's like. But yeah, really great series, builds up to it slowly, very stylised, but gets the point across, and seeing where those characters end up. So I'm a bit of a film buff, I don't really watch TV series so much, but really got into it, as a lot of you have, and so I don't normally do fan art, but I'm really enjoying the art style and playing around with it. This isn't quite as I wanted, but we'll see where we end up. One of the things I was trying to get across in this video is, while I want to create this epic fan art can take a long time and go through many stages. So sometimes I may create several studies and artwork. I'll paint this one, and I'll create a digital sketch, then a traditional sketch, and several other drawings and artworks in between, drawing the individual characters and really finding ways to figure out any difficulties and challenges along the way that I need to overcome, which then leads up to the painting that may take me 3 months to complete in order to get it as I would like, especially when there's this many characters and portraits to be painting. So art, well, my art at least, doesn't have a system. It can take 5 seconds or 5 years. Never know when, and you never know how long it will take when starting. On average, mine can take a week to 2 weeks to really fully actualise the idea, even if the painting itself doesn't take as long. So this one took me 4 hours, but I was figuring it out all the time. This working out and the several sketches I've done will help the next artwork be that much faster, having found any pitfalls that I came across. I think the danger of social media is it all seems very quick and like it happens instantly and easily. Sometimes it does, but that's not how creativity in general is every single time you approach it. I wanted to connect with you all. I wanted to talk about this mutual love of the TV show and to create an artwork based on that. However, it was very ambitious to try and do it in one evening in between projects. And so this is like the initial idea, this is the work in progress still. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the other artworks end up looking like. It's as much of a surprise for me as it is for you. And I've got a cheap large canvas, I don't want to use my expensive ones for this. And so that will be what I'll be using when I've got some spare time in the new year, by which point I'm hoping the date for Season 2 of Squid Game will be announced. Really happy with the composition, just need to try and make it work. It's really compelling with the over-the-top expressiveness of the characters. There's quite a different dynamic with all the different squads combining forces and figuring out how they're going to get past this. I would have liked a bit more development around some of the characters that changed personalities due to the circumstances they were in. I would have liked to be a little bit more nuanced in some of that, in some of those changes. And then the marbles seemed like a lot of trust was going on from the soldiers as well, but that was still a very heartfelt moment, and the episode that everyone talks about being the real emotional situation. And of course the backstabbing and thinking he's a well-known character, Ali's going to get out of this, and just seeing that betrayal in his eyes, well acted. It'd be interesting to see whether there's any books written about the Squid Game politics, and whether, you know, the deeper meaning behind the show. And so I'm going to take it home, put it in the iPad, and then hopefully combine the traditional with the digital, and yeah, it should look a bit better. But I'm really happy with the energy of it and what it kind of feels like. I don't tend to go for total realism, even though I would like to take this a little bit further towards representation than I did. But with the Christmas flea market next weekend, and then the People's Art Fair, and then the other Christmas market, I've just got a lot on my mind, and I'm just so happy that short has really resonated with a lot of you, and a few of you have joined in subscribing, so thank you for that. And so I wanted to jump on this and create this artwork, but I think what I'll do is, I'm hoping there'll be a Season 2. I'm really looking forward to Season 2, and I want to create like a big artwork, movie poster style, and give it like a month or two to really do this some justice and be like a really kind of, you know, maybe a series of videos. And so it'd be interesting to see if any characters come back, and whether the player 001, who we find out his real identity at some point towards the end, which again I can't give. As soon as I read that online, I was like, I don't really want to know if he's got a different identity. But it'd be interesting to see whether he's still alive in the second season and what his part of the play is. So Hellbound's another great series, which didn't really answer any questions though, and it just left me thinking what else is going to happen within this world. So yeah, another great series, which I might do some art for another time. I'm going to revisit this at another time. I'm going to create something a little bit more elaborate, or at least the same thing, but taking more time over it, and maybe I'm going to have to blow it up a bit bigger, because I just haven't got a brush small enough for so many faces. And so I might redesign what I've got in order to create bigger portraits and make it a little bit more accessible for the details. So yeah, it's been a great way to bring community together in terms of that grouped nerdiness around a love for a TV show. But of course it's more than that, because there is that message within it. It reminded me a little bit of Battle Royale in terms of the way it felt, and a bit like Saw in the games, of course. But then it had its own art style and its own, quite quirky in the way it approached it, even though there's many moments where you're in a false sense of security thinking you're safe, and then a load of characters die or betray one another. And then, of course, we have the cliffhanger for Season 2. There's some questionable about his haircut at the end, but that's very typical of that place, I guess, and I guess it's a mirror of wealth and confidence. So it'd be interesting to see how that character develops and whether he will return to Squid Game, whether he will have the same notion as the police officer's brother, and whether he will have any involvement in Squid Game and its running in the future, or whether he's going to go back and save people. It's also a few question marks around whether any of the characters who we saw die, whether they are alive or not, because some of them we didn't necessarily see their death or their body, we just saw them fall or saw the gunshot. Just need the Bob Ross afro. I don't teach, I just paint. That's no good, I can't see.